The sleeping giant. The three warships of the Vorthok Empire cut through space like silver daggers against the starlit void. Their hulls gleamed with polished metal and pulsing energy cores, displaying the technological might that had conquered 17 worlds in the past decade. Commander Zaxel stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Eternal Dominion, watching the small blue-green world grow larger on his view screen. New Eden, the humans called it, a peaceful farming colony on the outer rim, far from Earth's protection. Such a pathetic little world, Zaxel muttered, his forearms crossed behind his back. His scales shifted from blue to purple, a sign of contempt among his species. Intelligence reports show no military installations, no defense platforms, no weapons of any significance. This will be our easiest conquest yet. Lieutenant Corex, a young officer with bright yellow markings on his neck, studied the scanning reports at his station. Sir, the colony has a population of roughly 50,000, mostly agricultural workers and their families. They've sent several surrender requests already. Zaxel's mandibles clicked in amusement. Surrender requests. Before we've even fired a shot. These humans truly are as weak as the Council claimed. He turned to address the bridge crew. Prepare landing craft. We'll take the planet intact. The Empire needs more farming worlds, and healthy human slaves fetch good prices in the outer markets. The bridge crew worked efficiently, preparing for what they expected to be a simple occupation. The humans had established their colony only 30 years ago, and their technology seemed primitive compared to Vorthok advances. No plasma shields, no quantum cannons, no faster-than-light communication arrays, just simple fusion reactors and basic manufacturing facilities. As the three warships entered the system's outer edge, Lieutenant Corex frowned at his display. Commander, I'm detecting an anomalous object in high orbit around the planet. Large metallic signature, but it's not showing up on thermal scans. Show me, Zaxel commanded, his interest mildly piqued. The main view screen shifted to display a magnified image of the object. What they saw made several crew members laugh out loud. Floating in the dark void was what appeared to be an ancient human vessel, but it looked more like space debris than a starship. The hull was covered in layers of cosmic dust, micrometeorite impacts, and what looked like centuries of solar radiation damage. Rust streaks ran along its surface like tears, and entire sections seemed to have been patched with inferior materials. By the 7 moons, chuckled Navigation Officer Throsk. Look at that pathetic wreck. The humans actually left their garbage floating in orbit. The ship was massive, easily twice the size of their own vessels, but it showed no signs of power or life. No heat signatures, no electromagnetic emissions, no movement. Along its battered hull, faded letters could barely be made out through the grime and damage. UES Prometheus. Sir, Corex said, his voice carrying a note of uncertainty, the vessel appears to be very old. Human design, but the metal composition suggests it's been here for decades, maybe longer. However, I'm detecting some unusual readings from deep within the ship's core. Zaxel waved a dismissive hand. Probably just residual radiation from a dying reactor. That rust bucket looks like it hasn't moved in 50 years. Focus on the colony, Lieutenant. That's where our prize awaits. But Corex couldn't shake his unease. His instruments showed something strange about the derelict ship. The energy readings were faint but incredibly complex, almost organic in their pattern. It reminded him of brain activity, neural networks firing in slow, deliberate sequences. He'd never seen anything like it in all his years studying alien technology. As the Vorthok fleet approached the planet, preparing to demand surrender, something changed. Deep within the ancient human vessel, circuits that had been dormant for decades began to stir. Ancient processors, built with technology that predated the Vorthok Empire's rise to power, started their diagnostic sequences. Quantum storage banks that had been patiently waiting began to access memory files that contained the experiences, knowledge, and personalities of heroes long dead. The first sign of change was almost imperceptible. A single running light flickered on along the Prometheus's hull, then went dark again. Then another, and another, like a giant creature slowly opening its eyes after a long sleep. Lieutenant Orcs was the first to notice. "Sir, the derelict ship is showing signs of activity. Power levels are increasing slowly but steadily." Zaxel glanced at the readings dismissively. "Probably just automatic systems responding to our presence. Some kind of proximity alarm. Ignore it and proceed with the invasion." The Guardian awakens. The space around New Eden erupted into chaos as the ancient human warship revealed its true nature. The Prometheus moved unlike any vessel the Vorthak had ever encountered, its movements fluid and precise, as if it were alive rather than merely mechanical. Captain Rodriguez's consciousness, merged with the ship's neural network, controlled every system with the expertise of a master conductor leading a symphony of destruction. The first volley from the Prometheus was devastating. Twin plasma cannons, each larger than a Vorthak fighter craft, discharged beams of concentrated energy that cut through space like swords of light. The beam struck the Vorthak ship Crimson Talon amidships, and its advanced shielding, which had protected it through countless battles, collapsed in seconds. The hull peeled away like flower petals, venting atmosphere and debris into the void. "Impossible!" Commander Zaxel roared, his scales now a brilliant orange with shock. "How did they penetrate our shields so easily?" Lieutenant Orcs frantically worked his console, analyzing the attack. "Sir, that weapon used a rotating frequency pattern. It adapted to our shield harmonics in real time. I've never seen technology like this." What Orcs couldn't know was that the Prometheus's weapons were guided not just by advanced targeting computers, but by the combined memories of every battle the uploaded consciousnesses had ever fought. Captain Rodriguez wasn't just firing weapons. She was applying 40 years of tactical experience gained from studying Vorthak combat techniques. Inside the ship's neural network, other voices began to join the battle. Commander James Chen, who had died at the Battle of Proxima, took control of the navigation systems. His expertise in three-dimensional combat allowed the massive ship to dance through space with the agility of a fighter craft. Lieutenant Sarah Kim, the best engineer Earth had ever produced, optimized power distribution between weapons and shields with inhuman precision. Multiple consciousness integration complete, the ship's AI announced. Tactical efficiency increased by 400%. The Prometheus fired again, but this time it wasn't trying to destroy. Captain Rodriguez had a different plan. The beam struck the Vorthak ship Stellar Conquest with surgical precision, disabling its weapons and propulsion without breaching the hull. The message was clear. Humanity could have destroyed them all, but chose mercy instead. "This is Captain Elena Rodriguez of the United Earth ship Prometheus." Her voice transmitted across all frequencies. "You are trespassing in protected space. Withdraw immediately or face the consequences." Zaxel's mandibles clicked with rage. How dare they? All remaining ships, focus fire on that human relic. Tear it apart. The Eternal Dominion and the damaged Stellar Conquest poured everything they had into their attack. Plasma bolts, quantum torpedoes, and particle beams converged on the Prometheus from multiple angles. For a moment, it seemed like the ancient ship might be overwhelmed. But then something extraordinary happened. The Prometheus didn't just absorb the attack, it seemed to learn from it. Its shields adapted, becoming more efficient with each hit. Its point defense systems, guided by the uploaded memories of dozens of combat veterans, intercepted incoming projectiles with inhuman accuracy. And when the barrage ended, the human ship emerged completely unscathed. "Analysis complete," announced Commander Chen's voice through the ship's communication system. "Enemy weapons technology has not significantly advanced in 40 years. Recommend immediate counterattack." Captain Rodriguez smiled grimly. "Agreed. Time to show them what human ingenuity really means." The Prometheus began to move in a pattern that defied conventional space combat. Instead of the straightforward attack runs typical of military engagements, it wove through space in complex spirals and loops. Each movement positioned it perfectly to exploit weaknesses in Vorthak formation and shield deployment. What the Vorthak couldn't understand was that they weren't fighting a single opponent. They were facing the combined tactical genius of Earth's greatest military minds, all working in perfect harmony. Every maneuver had been planned and practiced in thousands of simulated battles within the ship's neural network. The Prometheus's next attack was a masterpiece of precision warfare. Instead of using its main guns, it deployed a weapon the Vorthak had never seen before: smart mines that phase-shifted through solid matter. The mines materialized inside the Eternal Dominion's shield perimeter and attached themselves to critical systems. They didn't explode. Instead, they sent feedback pulses through the ship's electrical systems, causing cascading failures throughout the vessel. Within minutes, Zaxel's flagship was dead in space, its crew alive but completely helpless. Emergency lighting flickered weakly as the ship's main power grid struggled to maintain life support. "How?" Korex whispered, staring at his dark console. "How did they get past our shields?" On the surface of New Eden, the colonists watched in amazement as their mysterious protector systematically disabled the invasion fleet. Most of them had no idea the ancient ship was even there, let alone that it contained the uploaded consciousnesses of heroes who had died defending their world decades ago. Maria Santos, the colony's administrator, stood in the main communications center with tears streaming down her face. She was old enough to remember the first Vorthak attack, when a young captain named Elena Rodriguez had sacrificed herself to save the evacuation transports. Maria had been just a child then, but she had never forgotten the woman who had given everything to protect them. "Thank you, Captain," she whispered to the stars. "Thank you for keeping your promise." Above, the Prometheus completed its work. The third Vorthak ship, Stellar Conquest, had been too damaged to continue fighting. Its crew sent a desperate transmission requesting permission to withdraw. Captain Rodriguez, true to her nature, granted it. "This is your only warning," her voice carried across the void. "Return to your empire and tell them what you've seen here. Tell them that humanity's guardians never sleep, never surrender, and never abandon those under their protection. New Eden is under our watch. Any future aggression will be met with decisive force." Commander Zaxel, his pride shattered and his fleet destroyed, had no choice but to accept defeat. The Stellar Conquest limped away at sublight speed, carrying the survivors of what should have been an easy conquest. The Eternal Dominion was towed behind it, its crew grateful to be alive. As the Vorthak ships disappeared into the darkness, the Prometheus slowly returned to its previous orbit. Its weapons powered down, its lights dimmed, and once again it appeared to be nothing more than an ancient derelict drifting in space. But Captain Rodriguez and her crew remained vigilant within the ship's neural network. They had made a promise to protect New Eden, and they would keep that promise for as long as the ship's systems could sustain them. Death had not released them from their duty. It had only changed the nature of their service. In the weeks that followed, word of the battle spread throughout the galaxy. The Vorthak Empire, humbled by their defeat, began to reassess their expansion plans. Other aggressive species took note. Humanity might seem weak and scattered, but they possessed something unique among the stars. They had the courage to sacrifice everything for their principles, and the ingenuity to find ways to keep fighting even after death. The colonists of New Eden never forgot their mysterious protector. They established a memorial in the capital city, honoring the heroes of the Prometheus and their eternal vigil. Children grew up hearing stories of the ghost ship that watched over them, ready to awaken whenever danger threatened their world. And in the cold depths of space, the Prometheus waited. Its hull remained scared and weathered, its true nature hidden from casual observation. But within its neural networks, the finest minds humanity had ever produced stood ready to defend the innocent once more. They had proven that the human spirit could not be conquered, could not be destroyed, and would never stop fighting for what was right. The galaxy had learned an important lesson: never underestimate humanity, and never dismiss what appears to be just an old, rusted ship. Sometimes, the greatest warriors are those who have already given everything, yet continue to serve from beyond the grave. Captain Elena Rodriguez and her crew had found a way to make their sacrifice eternal, their protection permanent, and their legacy immortal. In a universe filled with advanced technologies and powerful empires, they had shown that the most powerful force of all was the human refusal to give up hope, even in the face of impossible odds. The Prometheus drifted silently in its orbit, waiting for the next threat, ready to prove once again that humanity's guardians never truly die.